name is Crystal and welcome to my YouTube channel. Alexa, what's the time please?
It's 10:21 a.m.
Right, it's 10:21 and I did ask my mum to ring me back at 11 o'clock this morning and I'm going to see what I'm going to do today. So as I'm a single woman, again by myself, you know, it's just my mother continually ringing me 3 times a day. And even when my phone wasn't working yesterday, I got home and I found about 6 to 10 messages on my phone, all from my mother. That is why my mailbox is full. I have just got continuous phone messages from my mum Jennifer. Nobody else, no boyfriends, just my mother. Continuous messages filling up my mailbox. So I can't have a relationship, I can't have a physical relationship with a man, so I have got to keep myself from going insane. Because no cuddles, no affection, no love, just my mother 3 times a day ringing me to see if I'm alright. Just like when I used to go out to my father on holiday, she would ring when he was with me at All Hallows Caravan Park. Derek was. Stables Cottages, Derek took me to. Silverley, Derek took me to on my birthday. On my birthday, I was with my dad. So my mum knew where I was because I was with my father, you see. And now it's like my son has taken over, taken me to places. So I can't have a boyfriend or a physical relationship, but my dad was taking me to places up until 2011 and 13 where he had his heart attack and he couldn't take me to these places anymore. So let's go back to Canvas Sands. So I struggled up the sandy hill, walked down the sandy hill where there was a big sign with dogs. There was also an ice cream van selling ice cream for dogs. There was also a Mr. Whippy. So there was a big sign at the bottom of the beach saying dogs, dogs, right? People aren't dogs, people are human beings. But there's a big sign, dogs, right at the bottom. So my son and I found somewhere to sit. Canvas Sands is extremely sandy, hence the name Canvas Sands. It's a sandy beach. Sand gets in your mouth, on your clothes, in your trainers and in your car, if you've got a car. So it covers everything in sand. I even got sand in my mouth. It gets on your ice cream, on your food, put food in your mouth, crunch, you've got sand in your mouth. Sand everywhere. So we sat on a shingly bit where there was softer sand and shingles, and the sea was going out. But I did manage to get into the sea with my shorts and my t-shirt on. Right? Got into the sea with my short and t-shirts right up to my midriff and got into the sea and, you know, had a bit of fun in the sea with everybody else. It's absolutely packed, people everywhere. Because obviously it's the height of the summer season, people are actually on holiday, so they don't have to worry about going home. They're on like 2-week holidays, so it was absolutely heaving with people. Something I don't like because I have a social phobia. When I'm around loads and loads of people, I get heart palpitations and it makes me feel ill. So after a while we sunbathed and it was absolutely boiling hot. We both got brown and burnt, my son and I, and the ridiculous things that go on a beach. Obviously weed smoking, drugs, little kids all stripped off and people smoking weed and marijuana everywhere on the beach. They've got their radios on, and dogs. You know, I can't count how many dogs came up to my face while I was led down. People walking on the beach with dogs, dogs going loose and sniffing you. That's not something I like either. I show respect for other people. I certainly wouldn't let my dog lick someone's face or sniff their bottom while they're led down with their eyes shut trying to sunbathe. But that is what was going on, and this is what happens whenever I go out with somebody. It happened with my dad. I'm not allowed to sit down. Somebody has got to be irritating, do something that's a nuisance, annoying, and sometimes downright dangerous and harmful. I cannot be left to just sit or lie down in peace when I am out with somebody else. When I'm on my own, no one gives a fuck. They just stay clear of me as if I'm a disease when I go on the field outside in Rochester by myself. No one comes bloody near me. But when I'm going out with somebody else, they're all jumping on me, getting their dogs to sniff me, so they part me from whoever I'm with. It's annoying. Later on, both my son and I were getting hungry. As I said, I didn't have any money. So we walked about half a mile down the beach through thick sand. It's like climbing up a mountain. Painful on my legs, but I did it. And we stopped at this place that sold burgers and chips, ice creams and drinks. My son and I went into this little cafe. We could have sat inside, but we didn't. We sat outside. They told us it was going to be a half an hour wait for our food. So my son put a timer on, an alarm on for half an hour. So it was a half an hour wait for food. This was about getting on for 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I was starving. So my son ordered me a burger and chips and a latte. I wanted a hot latte. So I got my latte. Me and my son sat outside on a picnic bench, and he put the timer was on the table, and the various idiots that were coming into the cafe grounds that were annoying. And this girl came and sat down on a picnic bench, smoking a cigarette all over everybody. A long cigarette. I don't smoke. I can't stand it, especially smoking over food is disgusting. And my sister Amanda was guilty of it. Smoking while you're eating your dinner, the ash goes on the food, and you eat someone's cigarette ash. It's filthy. Anyway, this really enormous, a 400-pound plus woman comes into the cafe grounds with her friend, female, and she's got a bra on. And she's about size 60 breasts. So she's got a bra on, the tits are hanging out, they're all coming out the side of the bra, and it looks horrible. It really does look horrible. I'm going to a show tonight. She was going with her fag, and the skin out of her bra didn't fit, so her skin was coming out of the bra. I'm going to a show tonight. You know, if you've ever watched Little Britain or some comedy show, I'm going to a show tonight. Going to a show. Fag smoke coming out everywhere. Yeah, she thought she was the bee's knees. Talking to people, I'm going to a show, are you interested in coming? Got a big fag, tits hanging out, legs the size of, I don't know, the whole road. All the flab was falling all over the chair. But she thought she was wonderful. I was just sat there in disbelief. just trying to eat my burger while people were being really rude and disgusting and vile. As usual, they were walking up and down the beach with their Puma tops on. Puma tops, walking past me, trying to annoy me and being ridiculous. And I was sitting there with my son. I just stood my ground, eventually got our burger. It was delicious. I don't think it was properly cooked. It was too soft, but I ate it and risked food poisoning because inside the burger looked a tiny bit pink. They were in so much of a rush to get the food out, they hadn't cooked the burger properly. So it was just cooked, I would say, almost underdone, because there were slight pink bits in the burger. My son ate one as well. They asked my son if he wanted a yuzu. My son, not me, because it's me that's done a video with the yuzu. Not my son. So they asked my son if he wanted a yuzu. We ate our dinner. I said, there's no point rushing off. You must let your food digest. We both inhaled several amounts of weed. He had to drive me home, and I could smell marijuana everywhere, and I've got to rely on somebody else to drive me home. Drugs. They were off their bloody heads. They all thought they were fantastic, and they looked greedy, obese, and they thought they were the bee's knees, and they were absolutely hideous and disgusting. The behaviour was of animals in a zoo. I was absolutely shocked that people behaved in that manner. Disgusted, vile. I mean, it's all right when you're sitting in your home and letting all your bits hang out, right? There was children on that beach. They were stripping their children naked next to people that were smoking weed and marijuana with loud music on. So you had little girls with no clothes on running around people that were smoking drugs, because foreign people behave differently to the English. Although some English were behaving like it, but the majority of them were foreign, and they all take their clothes off, don't they, and dress with great big thongs up their bottom, and everything's out for everyone to see, including kids. I don't like that myself. I find it vile. I just didn't like the behaviour of other people. If I'd have been on that beach relatively quiet on a different day, it wouldn't have been like that, but I didn't expect a Sunday relatively early in the morning to be as busy as that. It's the drugs. Everywhere now is splattered with marijuana everywhere. You cannot go anywhere without fucking weed in your face. And it's a mind-altering drug. It makes you feel maybe euphoric for a bit, and then you come down with a bump and have a massive headache. That's why the paracetamol boxes were everywhere, because when you take drugs, it gives you a headache. So along with drug canisters, there's paracetamol boxes, because it's obviously given them a headache. They've taken all these drugs, and now they've got this thumping headache. Which is pointless, isn't it? Why do they do it? Why do these people do it? Because it's not pain relief, is it? Making yourself so ill, you give yourself a violent headache. Why do people do it? So, like I said, we stayed on the beach for as long as we possibly could. Then we made our way home through the Alexa, or not the Alexa, the sat-nav was given my son's rural directions. So we went through a place called Ebony. Ebony is a word for black, Negro. So we went through a place called Ebony, E-B-O-N-Y, Ebony. We went through Leeds in Kent. We past Leeds Castle, which was opened, and I said perhaps we can go there another time, because that's a place my dad never took me. I asked my father to take me to Leeds Castle and he never did. I haven't been to Leeds Castle in Kent. That's somewhere I do want to go. Yeah, so we went through all the back streets, places I've never actually heard of or been to. And we got back home and my son said, would I like a McDonald's? I was still quite hungry, so we waited ages in the drive-through at McDonald's next to a plaque that was advertising taxis 666 666, which is the sign of the beast and the devil. The taxi rank calling themselves 666 666, which is also the number of windmill taxis in the Medway Maritime Hospital. When I came home at 2 o'clock in the morning in my pyjamas back to Victoria Road, in the pitch black and dark, because I couldn't get a taxi and they told me I'd have to stay in the hospital all night to wait for a taxi, and I walked home in disgust in my pyjamas at how I was being treated. I walked home in my pyjamas and there was my mum with £8 coins in her hand saying, oh, you could have got a taxi. I couldn't get one whether I had money or not. So I walked home in my pyjamas from the Medway Maritime Hospital after they'd taken my blood. And they know I'm not Jennifer. Well, they certainly do now since I've had the blood transfusion. My blood is A positive and my mother's is rhesus negative. Jennifer's is. Mine is A positive. It's not rare blood at all. And they dumped me. Once they'd taken my blood out of my arm, they told me to go home. They weren't interested. They found out my blood was a common blood. My mum has got the rare blood type, not me. So I've been used and used and used and abused, and they've got the wrong fucking person. And they still won't leave me alone. Even though they know I'm not Jennifer, they will not leave me alone. They're big black bags. My son had a big black bag, a big black leather bag. This morning there's someone with great big black backpacks on their back. They know I'm not Jenny. But still they pretend. Doesn't matter. I have to fight. That's why I act like a man, not because I am one. I have to fight to stay alive in this wicked world that is abusing me. It's not abusing my mother, it's abusing me. Right, got home with our McDonald's, sat on the bench and ate it. I had a Happy Meal with 4 chicken bites and fries and a small banana milkshake. And my son also got me a coffee. If it wasn't for my son, I wouldn't have had anything to eat, nothing to drink, and I would have been burnt as fuck and in a terrible state. Now I'm just waiting for my mum to ring me back to see whether I'm going to go up there or not. And if not, she wants me to wait till Friday. And I've got no money on me. See you later.